This is a HeadGum podcast.
All right, y'all. We normally do one of these cold opens, but today
we got a hot open.
A hot open.
Oh, it's hot
because we made it.
Hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Okay,
hot
wait. Here's it.
What a oh goodness. So here's the thing. We had to talk about this because The Perfect Guy.
Yep.
Yes.
Came out this previous weekend, and it is number one in the box office.
Yes, it is.
Came in number one.
Number one.
Starring Sanaa Lathan.
Yes.
Hold on, time out. Can we say your name one more time?
Sanaa Lathan.
Woo!
But I'm more concerned about
And Michael
Ealy.
Michael Ealy, who we've been talking about.
True.
All right. And Morris Chestnut.
Morris Chestnut.
Who honestly I forgot about.
But Morris has been
course.
like he's been struggling and not struggling,
what-
but he's been stooming along.
No. He's been
Oh,
hustling.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's one of the
out there.
people who were like, why is this dude not in the lead of more
Exactly.
movies, right?
Exactly.
So anyway, it's a predominantly black cast. It's number one in the box office. But the real reason we're talking about this is because for the past 5 weeks,
Yup.
5 weeks
What?
in a row, the number one movie in the box office has had an African-American lead.
Say it one more time.
For 5 weeks in a row, the number one movie in the box office has had an African-American lead.
Yeah.
Starting off with Straight Outta Compton.
Straight out of Compton.
Straight out of Compton, 3 weeks in a row, straight out of Compton. And
Yes.
then the movie that bumped it off is a movie called War Room. Now, none of us have seen that movie yet.
Not yet.
But it is actually like a Christian movie. I know like the people who made this movie called Fireproof with like Kirk Cameron, and they made this movie called Courage, it was about football, whatever. Anyway, they make a lot of these like mainstream kind of Christian movies.
Yes.
Faith-based, I think is what they call them, faith-based movies. But it's very interesting. They have a black cast, apparently, a predominantly black cast, or at least African Americans in the leading roles. So, and that was the number one movie last week, or 2 weeks ago. And then last week,
Perfect
guy.
So,
but this is more news, guys.
okay, what's
Uh-oh,
up?
what is
More news. I know we are like John Boyega is winning. He's the African American man that's in Star Wars. coming
Yes.
out. But this is a little bit of swirl news.
Oh,
Oh,
a little bit of swirl news.
An update on the swirl.
Update on the swirl. He was just cast as the lead in a Tom Hanks film beside Emma Watson, playing Emma Watson's love interest.
he gonna be Hermione's love interest?
He gonna be her mind. Woo!
Yes.
Oh,
and also
snap.
in Hancock news.
Shut up. You're
How you
ruining
gonna
the hot
do
topic.
Hancock? We're not even at the end of the show yet.
No, but
we're at the
in-
beginning of the show. You gonna bring up
But
Hancock?
this is in Hancock news. He got
What?
to do swirl news.
What's your Hancock news?
This is old news, but no, old news is good news.
That's not true.
Is it?
That's not true.
What?
Will Smith's gonna be dead shot in the Suicide
We
Squad.
all knew that.
Everybody
That-
What? That's not the
knows.
What are you doing?
I just
You
need
should
to
at least be talking about Concussion, which is coming out.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm messing up.
You're not even a fan of Will Smith,
goodness
really,
gracious.
are you? You're not a fan.
He about
How
to
you gonna
get
say I'm not-
nominated.
You
for
ain't a fan
Concussion.
because you didn't even
How
know
you gonna
Concussion.
say-
You seen the trailer?
I haven't seen the trailer.
You ain't a fan
How am I not a fan?
because you ain't seen the trailer.
Listen.
I got things to do.
You ruining,
okay? I haven't
you
seen-
ruining hot news right now. Okay, hot open.
Hot news. Okay, so here's the thing. We actually may or may not be doing this again. I want to.
Yeah,
I
we
want
gonna do the hot.
do
Y'all
the
let us
hot
know
news
how y'all
again.
feel about the
Because
hot
here's
news.
the thing. You guys have been talking about Straight Outta Compton, and we're like, yeah, man, we missed the boat on that. But we think we're going to try to go and see these movies and maybe do a bonus episode for
Yes.
y'all. All right? And we'll kind of do a short review of these movies. But anyway, I think our podcast is helping the cause a lot right
Yes,
now.
it is.
Right? That's
It
what's
is.
happening.
It is.
That's really what's happening. Let's
for
be
black
honest.
men.
Three
Yeah.
fists for us. 3 fists for us.
Anyway, so hopefully this is not just a little. So hopefully Hollywood takes notice because these were still predominantly black casts. So I want Hollywood to be like, okay, this is cool. People are seeing these movies. More people than just black people are seeing these movies. Okay, and you can put African Americans in the leads of your big budget movies. All right.
Yeah.
Talking about
so
hot news.
anyway,
Talking
now
about
we're gonna
hot
get
news.
into the
Talk about hot
to the show. What are we doing?
about
Talking
hot
about hot news. We talking about the hot news.
Oh yeah.
Talking about hot news. Talking about the hot news. Talking about the hot news.
Talking about the hot
hot
news.
news. Woo. Shut up. You copied that.
No, but it was like
That's not original.
All right, we get into the show. Here we go.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can jump.
In Hollywood.
Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, man.
What's up,
yeah.
guys?
I like it like that.
I like it like that. I like it. All right, that's enough. That's enough. We can't pay for no royalties. What's up, guys? This is Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Hollywood City.
Are you all right over there, James?
I'm good. I'm ready.
James has some life things happening. Y'all
I have
to
some
see, I
life
know.
things happening right now. By the time this podcast comes out, though, it'll be far and away.
Far and away.
Yeah, far and away.
So yeah, that's James the Third over there. I'm Jonathan Braylock.
I'm Jerah Milligan.
Yeah, I'll say my name, even though it's been said, James III.
Yeah, there you go. And today we are doing the We're doing it. We're reviewing the film Blazing Saddles.
Yes, Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Okay. What, Jerah? What already? You already on?
We just said the title.
We just said the
All we
title.
said was the
I'm good.
title.
I'm not going. I'm good.
Just real quick for those who don't know, Black Men Can't Jump at Hollywood. We talk about films with leading black men in the context of Hollywood's kind of problem. I always
It is a problem. It's a problem.
Why do I always stutter?
Don't feel bad when you say
I
it.
gotta not feel bad about it.
It's a problem, especially connected with this movie, or maybe it's my problem.
Right.
Man.
Well,
But-
we'll discuss in
Yeah.
this movie and how it uses its leading black man. But first of all, can we just all say that because for whatever reason we debated it before we saw this movie, he is the lead of this film, right?
Cleveland Little is the lead of the film.
Cleveland Little. We had to look up his pronunciation.
Yeah.
We had to look up his.
Because we don't know him.
We don't know him.
We don't know him. This is ostensibly like his most famous film, and it was like he did other films. He was like, I think there was like 3 small roles he had in films before this. He was a huge theater actor.
He was on MacGyver.
He won a Tony. He won a Tony.
You want a
Award.
Tony?
He won a Tony for like a comedy too. Like he actually was like really good at classical, but like without, at least Wikipedia said like he couldn't get that many classical roles because at the time they weren't really casting black Hamlets.
Yeah.
So, but he. For whatever reason, his movie career never took off, despite the huge success of this film.
Yeah.
This movie was a huge success when it came out.
All right.
There's no way this movie
This is-
was not a huge success. It's
Let
hilarious.
me explain to you how. First of all, let me explain to you how big of a. You know who Mel Brooks is, right?
I love Mel Brooks. That's why it makes
Okay.
it even more.
You love Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks has a career because of this film.
because of that.
This was
This
his
is the
maybe
film that did
third
it?
movie. It was the most successful Mel Brooks film, period. All the other ones after it did not do as well. The ones before it didn't do as well. On the all time, this is all time adjusted for inflation box office. It's number 50
Wow.
all time.
All time.
It made like when it came out, it made $119 million in 1974. It was a rated R comedy.
Yeah.
So I think all time for rated R movies, it's like number 6.
Yeah. That's insane.
I feel like Johnny Storm right now as you guys praise this movie
Wait, why?
because
Why
I
you
feel
on
like
fire?
I'm just burning up
What?
as your love.
All right.
And admiration of
Let
this
me just
film
heap on a
continues.
little more admiration. The movie was nominated for 3 Oscars.
Get the fuck! This movie was nominated.
This movie was nominated for 3 Oscars.
Let's get to the reviewing, goddammit, because this got to stop.
The American Film Institution rated this the number 6 funniest movie of all time.
What the
Now-
number
now-
6 funniest
Gerard,
movie?
Because Gerard,
Funniest movie?
Of all time.
You have a
Oh,
lot
my-
of. Before you. Okay, wait.
Oh.
Gerard, can you
I don't even know what to
put
do with my
into
body.
words? Can you put into words why you are so angry?
Yeah.
You know what? Let me tell you. Okay. Because I was thinking about this on the way over here. Okay. I don't like. Let me say this. I love and respect the fact that this black man is leading this movie.
Yeah.
All right. I don't like how he is used in this movie. I don't like how his character is used. I don't like how for the first half of this movie he is actually playing this character. And I will go into detail. Let me tell you why.
Please,
Can
please
the
do,
audience
because-
hear me shaking my
The
head?
thing is, I can't even understand
You're
right now why
so
everyone. I
wrong
need
about
people to
it.
tell me
No,
why
no,
you love this
'cause
movie.
because
as a black man,
I
I'm like,
will.
is no one offended by this bullshit?
Here's the thing. The thing.
Like the first 5 minutes in the movie, I was like, yo, this is some bullshit.
Well, the first
my
5 minutes of the movie,
God.
I think they actually handled the race very
Amazingly,
well. It's so well.
Amazingly.
Like the way what they're doing is
yes, they make fun. They make everyone know that white people were bad for calling him and referring to him as a nigga most of the movie. Great, they made a message. Keep
but
going,
not only did they do that, but they flipped the like they were obviously much smarter than the white men that came up.
Yes,
and they tricked them into like doing the singing and dancing for I thought that was a super smart joke. I will say that I do wish that the movie did more of those kinds of jokes throughout. I don't think they did the same kinds of jokes. Like they weren't all like, some of them were just like stereotype kind of jokes. But I don't know. I thought that was good.
First, just in case for whatever reason some person is listening to this and hasn't seen Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
The movie, essentially the premise of the movie is you have Cleveland Little. He's a railroad worker with some other blacks and Chinese people, and they're working on this railroad that needs to go through this town in order to like make profit for this guy Hedley Lamar, who's like the villain of the film, and so essentially after a circumstance of events, Hedley Lamar appoints Cleveland Little's character, I think it's Bart. What is it? Bart? No, Bart.
Bart.
Appoints Bart as the new sheriff of this town because he's black, and this is like the year is 1874. So the idea is if he appoints a black sheriff, the residents of the town will leave because they don't want a black sheriff because they're all racist. And then like he winds up like saving the day essentially, and they wind up accepting him and like everybody else. So that's the premise of the film.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sorry, bro. Like I just don't. Fuck this movie.
This movie was made.
Like I don't give no fucks.
This
Like,
movie
fuck
was made
this
in
movie, bro.
1974. First of all, this movie is a satire, right? It is a total parody of cowboy films. So I think that's one thing that you're missing, Jerah.
The movie wasn't made for me. This movie was made for white people to feel good about themselves. Like, oh, look what we did. It's a black man here. This movie, the black man actually is smart. Man, fuck this movie. And I want to tell you why, because half the movie, yes, he is smarter at some points, and he does do creative things. But the moment Gene Wilder comes in this movie, who is the one teaching who? Like, and when Gene Wilder comes in the movie, Gene Wilder is the one almost giving him confidence to go out and like save the day. Oh, you know what? Don't take that gun. Because if you kill that, if you take that gun, it's gonna be bad for you. He leaves the gun. He comes creative. Who takes him to the club when the white woman's there? You know what? I got someplace for us to go. Let's do this. Oh, the woman wants to see you upstairs. You should go do that.
Now
who kills? One more thing. I'm sorry to skipping around. When we get to the point where like it's all the colored people, Gene Wilder, Bart, and like the bad guys, whenever come up, who's the one who? Even though who's the one who saves the day? Who's the one who shoots the guns out of everyone's hand?
You're talking about one moment.
Like who proves to be the badass?
Who kills the bad guy at the end of the film?
And also, the end of the movie, the bad guy thing that's so funny about that is that not only do they kill, he does kill the bad guy, which I will admit. Like Gene Wilder makes sure the audience knows.
Thank you.
Gene Wilder makes sure the audience knows he kills the bad guy. You killed the bad guy.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's like it's so pointy fingers. Like you're purposely making this black dude do all this shit, and it's like. He is now not a human being anymore. Now this black dude we're purposely having him in this movie. We purposely have him in this movie to show, a black man can do this. A great thing about this Negro. A great thing about this guy. You made this dude into like, you didn't even do it in a really respectful way. You know what I'm saying? When he had sex with the white woman, she was like, oh, is the rumors true? Oh, I want to know. It's like, fuck this shit, man.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Can I, look, First of all, you're so wrong about this movie. It's not
I'm
even
not,
funny.
bro. I'm
It's
not, bro.
funny.
I'm not
First
at
of
all.
all,
You
first
have
of all,
no clue. The
do
thing
you
is
know
right
that?
now,
Do you know?
I understand. I the things I want to understand right now is I can tell every person who likes this movie is either white or from the fucking suburbs. That's who loves this goddamn movie. I bet you this movie wasn't. If you go, let's go right now to motherfucking Harlem and see how many
First of
motherfuckers
all,
like this
do you know-
goddamn movie. Let me
Gerard.
tell you why, because this movie ain't shit. All they do is fuck up.
Gerard,
Sorry, this movie makes me so mad.
Do you know that Richard Pryor co-wrote this movie?
I don't give a fuck who co-wrote the movie.
What are you talking about? You don't get.
I'm talking. Are we
Richard
talking?
Pryor
is a co-writer.
So that makes. Hold on. So let me get this straight. Y'all just came to me right now because I don't like the movie and said, "Oh, this famous
Because you
black
just said
dude
that the
helped
only
write the
people who
movie."
like the movie are white people and people in the suburbs. You're not right. You're not right.
Gerard,
How do we know if I'm right or wrong?
understand where you're coming from.
This is
'Cause half
crazy.
halfway through the movie, what did I text everybody? Oh, I don't know how I feel about this.
Okay,
movie.
first
Right?
of all, let me address some points though, because some of the things he said are just straight up wrong.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
And I'm trying to remember all the things that you said.
Please fact check. Was it about the guns? Was it about him having sex with the white woman?
Here we go. First of all, you're saying that Gene Wilder's character is the one who's giving him ideas. That's not true at all. Gene
Yeah.
Wilder's character is there because he understands.
Did I not give you
he's
three
been in the
examples?
No, he's been in the town.
Oh, those examples wrong?
When he says don't go with the gun, he's telling him about Mongol because he knows Mongol, and Cleveland Little's character doesn't.
He gives him advice. Did I not give three examples of how he gave him
The
advice?
advice that he's giving him has nothing to do with Cleveland Little not being smart. He's just
I didn't say he
filling
wasn't
him in.
smart. I didn't say he wasn't smart at all.
but-
Cleveland Little comes
Here's the
up with
thing.
so
The
many
thing is-
smart things in the movie that nobody else could think of, and they make it a point to be like, "Oh wow, nobody else could have thought of this." He
Right.
invented a candygram. He was saying like candygrams, not just I invented the device of using a bomb for the candygram.
Right.
It was like there was never ever such. He invented candygrams.
Candygrams.
Oh, right. Well, they played the Looney Tunes music.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, that was so creative. Great. Keep going.
No, but
That's so ridiculous.
I mean, because he just said he gonna prove me wrong, and he has. I want to hear it because I feel like when I made that example, I said exactly with that, and you said nothing else. But you were like, he wasn't
Because
done.
you're
You
trying
didn't
to
say anything
you're
else.
trying to pretend like him.
I know.
just
I
giving
did
him
not say that. What I simply said was, I said I didn't like how he portrayed the character, and I said I liked that he was smart. I said I didn't like that when Gene Wilder showed up for the first point. Right now, you're picking and choosing what you said.
Let me
At
talk
no
about-
point did I say what you're trying to say right now. I said he was smart, and I'm simply saying is that when Gene Wilder showed up, the first interactions, Gene Wilder was helping him more and
Right.
teaching him more than he was doing for Gene Wilder,
But the
which
Gene
is
Wilder,
a fact.
the Gene
that's-
Wilder
no,
part,
that's
I don't
not
think
true.
I don't think that part's true. I think that he and Gene Wilder actually help each other out. I think part of the problem that I have with the Gene Wilder bit though is Gene Wilder he gives his whole backstory and it's like this really interesting kind of a thing, and then we get Cleavon Little's backstory and it's like not as interesting. Like we don't really hear anything. It's like,
cut off.
oh, one time my
because it's a comedy.
you know, right? Because it's a comedy.
Because
But
it's
that's-
a joke. The
but-
thing is, Gene Wilder's backstory wasn't a real backstory.
right?
either.
It was also a joke.
Yeah.
That's the thing of like where it's like it's kind of like one of them has more of a like we know more about Gene Wilder than we know about Bart, and that's
Right.
kind of tough.
I don't think that's true. The only thing
But-
you know about Gene Wilder is that he used to be the fastest hands in
Right.
the West,
And
then he had one story, which is
The thing that I like
funniest
about
moments
that
of the
too,
whole
the
time.
thing that I like about that too is Gene Wilder is sidekick to
Yes.
Bart. Like,
And Bart
he's-
pulls Gene Wilder's character out. Gene Wilder's character is a Waco kid is like a freaking drunkard in the
It's a
beginning of this
drunkard.
thing.
We don't
and
see him for the whole-
He
for-
literally gives him his life back.
yeah, and I think that like if you don't see that part, then I get it.
Listen. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so that's one. What was the other one? The other one was how does
Should we review the movie?
Gene Wilder does the we are. We're going to go through each point because I feel like that's the only way we'll get through it is
Yeah.
if we go through the points that you don't like and see if you can see the other side
Right.
of it.
Listen, at no point, like, I'm pretty sure if I was born in 1970, this would have been like the best thing since sliced bread. Like, I'm not faulting that.
Yeah.
This movie, I don't like.
But
So it's like, and the thing is, the mere fact that we're discussing, like, oh, you must be wrong because you don't like this movie is fucking stupid.
No, but not. I don't
It's like
think
that's like me saying right now, hey, you don't like macaroni and cheese? You're dumb.
But I don't think that's
No.
That's not what we're saying.
We're not
That's what we're saying.
just because you don't like this movie. You can not like it comedically or whatever and just not like the movie. But what I'm trying to say is that there are certain things that you're bringing up about why you don't like this movie that just simply don't happen in the movie. Gene Wilder's character does not give him more advice than Bart takes like on himself. He comes.
I said at first he did. I said his first interactions with Gene Wilder's character. Gene Wilder is giving him more.
Gene Wilder's character is hanging upside down from a ceiling drunk, and Bart is giving him advice as to how to not be a freaking drunk person and get up off of his ass.
Right.
So he's not giving him more
Gene
advice. Gene Wilder gives one
That's-
thing.
That's one example. I gave you three.
But then
what's the other one?
Gene Wilder giving him advice. Also, the reason why something like that is important, and the thing that I think it's hard to get on board with is Bart has never been to this town before.
Exactly.
He doesn't know anything about this town. The black person in this is being put in this position because he's black, because they want the town to be like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And thankfully, there is a person, he is white, granted, because everyone in the town is white,
right,
that is able to say to him, hey, you know what? Let's go here. This is a good place, right? And then he goes there, and then what he does there is what he does. It's not what Gene Wilder tells him to do. He goes, he does all these things, and then it's his actions that brings the town around. Do you know what I mean? It's his
advice and that kind of thing.
Right.
And even the part where Gene Wilder shoots all the guns out of it, you like, the way to look at that is just like Mongol is the big strong man that these other, like, the bad guys are like putting in. It's not like nobody thinks Mongol is smarter, but he's just stronger, so they use him as a muscle. Waco Kid is freaking Bart's muscle. He's the fastest hands of the West. So he's like, yeah, I got my muscle, you have your muscle, but I have the smarts. I can outsmart you intellectually. That's what generals do. Like, that's what leaders do. The leaders aren't the ones who are the fastest hands or whatever. They are the ones who have the intellect and then have sidekicks who follow them because of their skills and intelligence.
I have examples of, you know what? Okay, let's keep going.
No,
keep going.
Let
me get past this. Keep going.
So
okay.
Let's talk about the use of the N-word, because I know for instance that's one of the reasons that you didn't like this movie, right?
The excessive.
I just don't like anything about the movie. Period. So you guys talk now, and I'm gonna just chime in when I feel like I knew I wasn't going to get going. Okay.
All right. So when you said you don't know how you feel about this movie, what?
Oh, okay. So what's difficult about this movie is it's a movie that came out in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And so in the 70s, the types of shit that you were allowed to say is not the type of shit that you are allowed to say now. And so this movie could have been a smarter movie than it was. And like, for example, like the way that they render characters, it's more, I mean, granted it's a more slapsticky kind of
slapstick
so
kind
it's
of
like
comedy.
So it's like it's not so much about character development. It's not so much about even character relationships.
It's
just
also
about
a parody, right? Like, it's a parody of Westerns, which is an aspect of it that none of us can fully grasp.
No,
because
right.
None of us grew up on Westerns.
Right.
The thing is, the main audience for this movie grew up on watching John Wayne and freaking all these like cowboy movies, and this movie is like, there are scenes in this movie that are specifically referencing and making fun of scenes from popular Western movies that everybody would have seen. It's like watching Austin Powers and never even seen a James Bond movie.
Right.
It's like, it's still funny, but there's a lot of stuff you're just gonna miss.
Right.
Period.
There's also
Do you understand that though?
This is my thing. The mere fact that people love this movie so much, like, this movie's loved.
Yes.
And it
is,
I understand the whole thing. Like, my stepfather, Pops, if you listen to this, loves Westerns. So I grew up watching Westerns.
Okay.
Because of him. Not saying I liked them, but I grew up watching them. So there were certain things in this movie which I understand now more so. Like, again, if I grew up in the 70s, I probably would have liked it more. And it's like, there weren't a lot of takes on Westerns. It almost was like, it was so much social commentary, which is great. But it was like, the way they did it, to me, it just felt like he wasn't a person. And it's so hard to explain.
I agree with that.
Do you feel like
he was a black person?
So wait,
that's what he was. Do you know what I mean?
Are you saying that he wasn't a person as opposed to every other character in this film.
Right, and that
You think is that what you're saying?
No,
He didn't
I
like-
don't think that. I think that everybody was
a caricature.
A caricature. Everybody was.
Okay.
And
do you think everybody was a caricature?
Yeah, I give you that. My thing is when I watched him though, and again, and it's probably because, every black person on that screen, like even his best friend with the bald head, and I get that we're trying to show like, oh, this is how Thomas we're perceived. We're trying to make this statement, but it was just like I just feel like we could have been smarter about how we portrayed these black people. Even though I understand Bart was supposed to be smart, I get it, but it was like he was so. I don't know how to put it because I don't know how excuse me. I've never seen a lot of movies from the 70s, so I don't know if that style of acting is like what people did. Like in my mind, it just seems jucky and jivey. Like I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah, I
So
see. I don't think.
Jucky.
See, I don't think he leaned into that.
It was only until he felt comfortable as being the sheriff, which is fine. But to me, it's like I don't know if that's to me that added on the fact of like he was referred to by the N-word so much. It was like and the way he was acting was just so like, especially when he got I don't know. It just felt very like.
Well, let's go back
was.
to that first
Yeah.
scene though. To me, that's the opposite of what was happening.
but to
It was
me-
like
he
that
did it
first
in that
scene where he's
first
like,
scene.
"Sing." You got like, all right, like sing your Negro spiritual, and they're like, and they sing this like I don't know, ball like kind of.
It
See,
sounds
I
like
was-
a
song, like a ga-
See,
like
I
a
wasn't mad
barbershop
at
quartet
that.
kind of a
Yeah,
song.
I wasn't
that they,
mad
like,
at that
sing.
one because like that one I get it. Like that one I was like,
And
oh,
they
you're
had
smart.
the other guys do like the and then they to make fun of them after they leave. They're like, yeah, we know that stupid song, too.
Right.
Yeah, no, like that part made sense, but then it skips because like you don't see him for like probably another 20
like
minutes.
4 scenes or something.
Yeah, so it's
4
like
or
it's a
5
little
scenes.
while when he's gone, but then when it's to me when he hits that town, like the moment he goes.
But he outsmarts them.
No, but hear me out. I get it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not denying how smart they made him.
Right.
I'm just talking about like I just don't know if that was a style of acting or is that like his way out. But the moment he got to, matter of fact, not even in town, when he got to the mayor's office, Mel Brooks was the mayor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he got to the mayor's office, the character, and it might just be a person for me, the character felt very like I'm watching. What was it like? I'm watching like a blaxploitation film until it stopped. But like the moment he got to that play, like we got to Mel
When he
Brooks,
kicked his feet up on the thing and was smoking a
yeah,
cigar.
like that entire even when he got to the town, even his bit of like him getting out of it felt like it felt different than when Eddie Murphy did it.
Yeah.
Well,
And again, it might be the styles, but it just felt so
style of
jucky and jivey.
But that's
until
what I think it
later
is, and that's the thing that I think is also hard about watching this movie now is you kind of have to put on like a different lens and look at it. I don't think that this movie. We'll see when we get to the ratings. I don't think that this movie is like we have to be like, oh, everybody needs to see this movie or anything like that. But like the way he gets out.
I love this movie.
It's very funny. It's very funny. The way he gets out. And so many of his gags are all like straight out of Looney Tunes. So many of the gags in the movie are straight out of Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
But like the style of acting switches so much because it just becomes cartoony. I don't think it's and I think that it may have that feel of like, oh, this is taboo, like, or this is minstrelly, what I'm saying.
Maybe that's,
But I don't think that is. Some people will look at this movie and see that, and some people.
Well, here's my thing though. I really don't see it. Like to me, the only minstrelly type thing that happens is when he like pulls the gun up to himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no,
Just that moment.
That moment where he's playing this like, I'll kill this nigga, like whatever. And so that moment is like the most minstrelly thing he does, and everything else is this very like. He's matching Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder is an incredible comedic talent who's been in plenty of movies, obviously had a much huger career than Cleveland Little ever did.
Yeah.
But to me, Cleveland Little matches him like tit for tat in that movie. I never once in the movie thought like, oh, like Gene Wilder is the main guy.
No
and
way.
Cleveland Little is
I agree
just
with
like
that.
supporting
No way.
him. Like, no, you don't feel like. You feel like Cleveland Little is like when he even. Because to me, even when he first rides into town, like the first time you see him in his sheriff's outfit, he looks stunning, and he's like, right,
Is
and
that
he
the one he
has
had
a
the
presence.
Gucci? Is that what they said?
Yeah,
he had
the Gucci, which is
bag.
hilarious.
He had the Gucci
Which is
bag.
funny because I wonder if that Gucci stereotype like existed back then.
Right. Right.
Gucci was just like known as like maybe it did.
I
don't
feel
know.
like that's connected to the stereotype. I
It
feel
is?
like it has to. I feel like it has to be.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why that's why that moment was funny to me.
Yeah, it was funny to me. But
like they were like, let's give him his Gucci back.
Gucci, yeah. But like, so like to me, like that kind of presence. Anyway, the other thing about this movie,
Yeah, this Gucci bag.
the other thing is this movie that
It is funny.
well, here's what I'm confused. Here's what I'm confused about, Jerah, because you are like seething with anger in a way that I've never seen before, which is ridiculous because we've done. I personally think we've done movies that have been much more damaging to black icons than this movie ever could be. This movie is progressive for its time, and like, first of all, it just because we didn't actually talk about the N-word thing. The reason the N-word is in this movie so much is because of Richard Pryor. It's not because of Mel Brooks. They didn't want to put the N-word in, but he purposely put it in this movie because he wanted the reality of this. It's just like watching freaking, any slave movie, and if they don't use the N-word, then you're like, well, this isn't real. You're not like really showing how horrible this time was. Like, this is 1874. This is like less than a decade after Civil War has ended. So like, to me, it's more powerful that you're using that word so much and showing how much hatred they have for this guy and how much he himself turns them around. They don't become good because of anything of their own volition. It's not like there's no white hero savior in this movie. The Cleveland Little's character Bart is the one who forces them and like literally gets all of the railroad workers and not just blacks, like the Irish too, because like that's that movie. He was like, all right. We'll take the niggas and the chinks, but no Irish. And they're like, nope, no deal. You can't do it. They're like, fine, the Irish too. Like, to me, that was such a funny thing. And it's like this inclusion, like, where that kind of thing just wasn't happening yet. And like, so, and they didn't like make his character. They didn't make his character minstrelly. They didn't dumb him down. And they also didn't like back away from the reality that these white people were like hating this black guy, just simply because of race, and that was it. Had nothing to do with his character because his character was like pristine. He was like the most likable character in the movie. Yeah. Even Wago Kid has a drinking problem, like, and he can't. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other more likable character in the movie, right. And he has sex with a white woman.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. Yo, guys, I used to shave with a razor that was so old.
Well, how old was it?
Yo, it was so old. Yo, his telephone number was 1.
Oh, first telephone number.
Okay, it was a rotary dial.
Yo, check it.
Oh, you got one?
I don't actually have one.
Okay.
You gonna try it? I think you're gonna try it. You were confident.
It was gonna be bad.
Listen, do you guys, be honest, do you guys use those old razors? Just use one razor and have it for like a month?
Yeah, man, I use a blade and I use that blade a lot.
Yes, I run it down.
Why do we do that, man? It's gross.
It's expensive, man. What do you mean?
I ain't got no money. I ain't got no dollars.
Yeah, man.
Okay, but see, first of all, your face is worth it. Second of all, I'm going to tell you something right now. DollarShaveClub.com changes all of that because they totally revolutionized the way that I shave.
Oh, wait. Is that a sponsor your name?
Yeah,
right
DollarShaveClub.com.
Oh, snap.
This is a sponsor, okay? Listen, you can shave with a fresh blade whenever you want. You know why?
What?
Because it delivers a whole sleeve of amazing razors for just a few bucks.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Ask a question.
I know we're talking about, like, say, like, I'm about to go to the beach, all right, and I want to shave my underarm so I can swim like a dolphin. Can I use the razor to shave? What?
Why are you swimming like a dolphin? Why are you swimming like a dolphin?
Dolphins move fast and they can, like, jump in the air real good.
Right. Okay. I mean, listen, I don't want to know about your personal business, but yes, because, this is what people need to understand. You can get razors constantly, right?
Right.
From DollarShaveClub.com, and it's not expensive like those stores that you go to.
Oh, like the fancy,
you have to
walk to them.
That's why these billion-dollar razor corporations are freaking out.
I bet they freaking out, just going crazy.
Because they price gouged us for too long. I'm telling you, I ain't going back. I ain't going back. So DollarShaveClub.com's razors are so good, millions of guys have joined up. Millions
out
of
there
dudes.
shaving armpits and legs, man. Trying to be smooth. Like
Yeah, you can like shave and then just throw that razor away because you don't want to reuse that razor down there and on your face.
Nope.
No. Throw that. Do that. Okay, you can upgrade a shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want. It's such a luxury. It's such a luxury. A luxurious. It's so luxurious.
Luxurious luxury.
It's about 1/3 of the price. Okay, so join me and millions of others who figured out that the smartest way to shave is by joining Dollar Shave Club right now by going to dollarshaveclub.com/black.
DollarShaveClub.com/black.
Hey, but the most important thing I feel like we learned in this whole thing is that when Braylock shaves, he shaves his neither regions first, then he shaves his face.
Then he shaves his face.
I thought he would go the other way around.
No, I said
I thought he would go the other way.
Because you said,
I said totally.
but you specifically said you don't want to shave
Well,
down
no,
there.
because you
then shaved up there.
Right, because you don't want to reuse the blades. Whatever. Shut your mouth. DollarShaveClub.com/black. You got to support us by doing that /black part. It's important. DollarShaveClub.com/black. Okay, let's get back to the show. All right. Anyway, so what I'm trying to figure out is if you're mad. I'm trying to figure out if you're mad about this movie of how it deals with race, or if you're mad about, or if you just don't like.
I
Mel
told you,
Brooks
I
type
don't.
of-
It's not. I immediately I said I like Mel Brooks. What I
Right.
said was, and which I thought we agreed is I felt like Bart. It's hard for me to explain, and it's probably terrible.
Like his
He just-
rendering of a
he
black
just-
person
it
seemed.
just seemed. It's something about he just didn't seem like a person. Like,
I mean,
it's very
but that's
weird.
the thing
But
is
Mel-
that's true.
okay, so-
he does not seem like a
Because
person.
nobody
They do,
seems
no,
like a
but
person.
nobody does, and he doesn't have anything.
Mel Brooks,
The thing that's the thing that's hard about it, right, is all of the characters are like these one-dimensional, like
Mel
governor
Brooks is governor.
wants to fuck this woman. That's all he wants to do.
That's all he wants to do. He's like cross-eyed and just like
He's cross-eyed, and I can't put my pin in, and that's what he does, right?
Headley Lamar.
Headley, right, is like I want to build this. I want this railroad to go through this town. That's all he wants.
caricature
That's
of
all he
evil.
wants.
At no point am I disagreeing with that. But when you ask me why I don't like this
Well,
movie,
this is why.
that's why
But the
I don't
reason I'm
like it.
confused
But
is
is
because
it-
you're saying that
Because this is my thing, and this is probably way more bigger than just this one movie. But it's like this movie, as everyone say, is considered a classic. This movie is like everyone's loved. This is like Mel Brooks' biggest movie, and yes, everyone is playing a caricature of like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for us to have this black man as this lead in this comedy, and again, and at no point I understand that like that's the point of this movie. But to have this man, this smart black man, to be a caricature of a black person, it just, to me, it hurts a little bit, and I get it.
But is he a caricature of a black person?
I don't know what the thing is. I don't know. I don't know.
The
I don't
joke
know.
of the movie, right, is what would happen if a white town had a black sheriff.
Yes.
Like that's the joke of the movie.
Right.
So in a sense, like he's playing a character of a black person. That's what he's doing. His job is to be the black person in the movie. That becomes the thing that's hard about it though is the fact that the main joke of the movie is that. So then it's like, should we ever?
So
I think
you
Jerah's
think the main
point
joke
is,
of the movie is the racial component?
that's the
the
main plot.
That's the
point.
plot device, but
That's
I wouldn't
the
say
main
that's
plot
the main
device.
joke.
Right? Like the premise of the way you pitch this movie is like it's a western. It's we're doing a western. We're doing a spoof on westerns. And the sheriff is black. And like,
What does
you
that
can't-
entail?
Right. If that bothers you to the degree that it bothers Jerah, you're not gonna like the movie.
Because to me, it's like, don't get me wrong, I understand why people would like it. Like, and again, I like Mel Brooks, and I get why it's a classic. But watching this movie, I even said before this, I got more and more. I just felt uncomfortable.
Can we talk about Wild Wild West for a second? Because
Yes.
Because in Wild Wild West,
we
I
have.
was like, I'm not sure I'm not sure how I worded this, but he. In Wild Wild West, he had to he would slip into and play a slave and be like, oh, I can do da-da-da-da, right? And then it would always be undercut by like another joke, right?
Right.
But like, it was this making him black, you needed to like talk about it, whereas like you wouldn't have had to otherwise. But like Wild Wild West exists as this other thing, and then the sheriff then Jim West happens to be black in this one. But in this movie, it's different. It's like the point is that he's black. You know, the
right, because
and the thing that's the other thing that's hard about it too, and I've been getting into fights with other people about other movies about this, but it's like we're supposed to be surprised. I don't know. I don't think that's actually the point of this movie, but we're supposed to be surprised that he's so smart and pulls it off, like that this black person is able to do. At least the white people in this town are supposed to feel that, and so then that's
because that's making a commentary
Right.
on them.
Right.
So this is my thing. I wrote down this question. Do you feel like the movie is making a commentary on racism, or it's just using racist jokes to like as filler to like?
I think it makes a commentary on racism. I think it makes a very big commentary on racism, and especially because of the way that Mel Brooks throws in all they're black jokes right throughout, but then then he'll just be like all these other races, you know what I mean? And that's
I guess I'm still trying to I wonder if. So for instance, I'm going to bring up when I saw 12 Years a Slave, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
At the end of it, I hated the fact, and I hated that it was nominated for an Oscar. I really did. I was like, we don't need this movie now. I don't care if a black director did this. I'm tired of watching slavery.
We should make other movies.
Because all it made me think of was racial divide. I literally at the end of watching that movie, before the movie started, I did not look in the theater to see how many people were white, how many people were black. When the movie was over, that's literally the first thing that I did. And I was like, oh, this movie nothing to heal. It just actually pushed that divide in more. Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's that kind of element that's making is
but
that
I don't
why
think that I don't think that the movie pushes that divide. I actually think that
I don't think so
think
either.
It's the opposite. I think it's more about acceptance.
I think because here's the thing. One of the reasons, so Richard Pryor was supposed to be in this film, but the studios didn't want him because they were nervous about him going off or whatever. And so it's for real. Wow. They were nervous. They were nervous about what he would say. And so and Mel Brooks had the final edit, so they actually had no control over it if he got it. So so they got Cleveland Little because they just thought it was a safer option. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, but this movie was able to do something through the device of comedy was able to make fun of white people in a way that we still do now. Mm-hmm. We still do now with relative ease, but I feel back then it was not easy to do, make fun of racism so blatantly.
I think a lot of the jokes. I think that a lot of the jokes are really on point in that respect. You know, I think it is so funny that the guy's like, you have to sleep with the sheriff, and then and then we'll kill him or whatever, and then she's just like, oh, I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is so funny. I think that is so funny.
Or even when he does something great, and then the old woman comes and she's like, yeah, sorry about that N-word comment earlier. Here's a pie. And he's like, thanks. And then he's like, oh, see, things are going great. And then she knocks it in and she's like, oh, you'll have the decency to not mention
tell
this
anybody. Yeah.
And it's that to me that was hilarious because I'm like, oh, it's showing this isn't some fake movie bull crap. They're showing reality. Oh yeah, they're showing the hypocrisy of being nice to somebody who's black in private. They're and maybe in 25 years they'll shake your hand in broad daylight. Oh great, good job. See, to me that's the opposite of what Jerah was saying in the beginning of oh, this is just white people patting themselves on the back. I don't think anybody was doing that. With this movie.
I don't think
to me this movie was being yo, by the way, all the patting on your back you think you're doing is stupid. You guys are even at the end, even when they accept the people, they're still using the N-word. It's oh my goodness, we have to force you every way. We have to save you every time just for you to move just an inch. To me, it was pointing out the hypocrisy of that, how horrible that was.
I agree.
All those people, none of them come out in a good light.
I agree.
Okay. It's
it's okay. It's fine.
Because the thing about this is this is one of those conversations that I know at the end of the day is I still don't get it. I could give you 100 answers. Okay. I could literally, and I've said multiple times why I don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and it's I still don't get. I've said it multiple times. And the thing is, and this is the thing. This movie feels did anyone see the help in this room?
I'm just trying
I
to.
haven't seen that.
No, don't just say like I don't get it. Like legit,
That's what you said multiple times.
Legitimately, because I'm asking.
Have I not said multiple times why I don't like this movie?
But I'm asking you specifically because
and
you
I've said it repeatedly. James even said James trying to explain it for me, and then you still said after that I still don't get it.
Right.
It's like, what do you want me to say to you?
Because
I couldn't say it. He said it, and you still go through this whole little monologue, and you're like, I don't get why Jerah doesn't like it. Jerah's fucking said it multiple times why he doesn't like this goddamn movie. James said it for Jerah, and you still don't understand it. And the thing about this movie is this movie's so fucking beloved that no one can dislike this shit. No one. It's like it's a movie that's so like, oh, it's a great comedy. Fucking Mel Brooks.
This movie was not in.
The mere fact. No. You're telling me the mere fact when I sat down here and said I didn't like this movie, the whole shit changed. It was like, what do you mean?
No, it's not because. Oh my God, Jerah!
Is that not what happened? Is that not what happened?
The mood changed because you came out like with a freaking
I didn't say anything at first.
for this movie.
I didn't say anything at first.
It's one
Wasn't
thing
I
to
quiet?
not like a film. We haven't liked most of the movies that we freaking watched.
Because I
but you were
like
just
this
like,
movie.
oh, you literally said F this movie, like, dude.
Because you kept bringing up why you didn't
hatred.
like it. I was trying my best not to say shit about the movie.
What are you talking?
I was quiet when I got here. Can you roll back the tape?
The divide that you guys are experiencing, I think it is. I think it's fair, and I think it makes sense.
I don't.
Because the thing I want to say though to Jerah specifically is, the movie is a beloved movie, but it's not. This isn't a movie that was in my repertoire as a kid. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't in my VHS box. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, it's rated R.
And I don't think
appropriate.
But but it's not. But it's also just not something that. The first time I heard someone talk about Blazing Saddles, it was a white dude. It was a white dude who liked Mel Brooks, and it was in high school, maybe. So the movie came out in '92. What message comes out of the movie? Because I feel like that's probably where you're most upset, Jerah, is how do people look at it? What jokes are people going to take home and understand are jokes in what jokes are people going to get and what jokes are people not going to get, and that's the line that this movie sort of walks on, and it's like what side you're going to end up on as far as that understanding. I think is difficult and tough, but that being said, I do think that it is a certain type of movie, which is why the humor is something that I was on board with and thought was funny.
But the reason that I'm confused is because he said he liked Mel Brooks movies.
Yeah.
So what's another Mel Brooks movie that you like?
I mean, my thing is, can I ask a question? Like, this is so funny because I feel like me justifying another Mel Brooks movie that I like does not take any weight away from the fact that I don't like this movie.
I'm not saying that you can't like this movie.
Because my thing is like at this point now, like me going into detail about why I don't like this movie is like. This is a moot point to me. It's like
that's what the freaking podcast.
Yeah, but wait.
Why are you angry at me for asking?
No, because my thing is like I've repeatedly said I don't like it, and I've tried to explain it in a simple way. And this is the thing: I have no ways else to explain why I don't like this movie. Yeah. I even said at one point, it's like I don't know. I just didn't feel good watching this movie, and I said it multiple times.
Yeah.
And it's like now we're at a point now where it's like I still don't get it. Give me this example, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. All right, I looked at this black man and I feel like he's not a human. It's like, and it's so hard to even say that on a podcast where people don't listen to it.
But the thing is, that's true. He's not, and so is everyone else.
Which I said
it's not the point.
Which I said that's not the point.
Yeah.
And it's like there are multiple movies where we can poke fun at white people. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like probably one of the first comedies that a black man was the lead in, and it's like, and we're making. I don't know. It's like I understand we're making fun of everybody. We're making fun of him. It's like he finally got this lead role, and we're making fun of this dude. The whole point of this movie is that, how great of a comedy would it be if a black man ran the town. It's like, I get it, but that shit sucks. So that's how I see it.
So okay, so you're mad. You're
I'm
upset.
not mad. I just didn't feel. The thing is, I felt sad watching it.
He's not mad.
You ever see something and you're like, I didn't feel good to be a black man watching this movie. And the thing is, it's so celebrated that it made me think, like, what's wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching this movie. It's like, oh, everyone loves it. My office mate loved it. You love it. Everyone loves it. And it's like, I, as a black man, felt shitty watching this movie. And now I'm feeling shittier at the fact that I just don't get why people like it.
But then I think it goes back to what I was saying about why I didn't like 12 Years a Slave. Like, it reminds you of a time where, like, black people were treated like as subhuman.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, it has less to do with the fact that this is a comedy and his character, like, wasn't a real person. It's more like the underlying, like, because I don't think they're not making fun of Cleveland Little in this movie.
No,
I don't think they're making fun of his
not.
character. The comedy doesn't come out of making fun of his character. The comedy comes out of his character making fun of everybody else. But it's still, to do that, they still have to play the reality of the situation of, like, yo, there was this deep-seated freaking racism that, like just coming out of slavery, where black people were still looked at as a subhuman in America, and especially in the American West. So I do understand that element of it.
Man, I get it. It's great. I just, again, watching it, I was like, oh, like, I've never felt, I felt multiple ways of being fucked up watching this movie. Because like, I just didn't, and the thing is, and y'all know how much I wanted to see a swirl, and there was a swirl in this movie,
Yeah.
and I didn't even enjoy
And like,
the
it is like the
swirl.
best way.
It was the best kind of
couldn't
swirl.
It is the
enjoy
best
the
kind of
swirl.
swirl. It was like,
literally
it
the
was
best
like,
kind of
it was
swirl.
like,
Like,
she wanted it
I know.
more.
not only did they hook
know,
up, but
guys.
she's the one that everybody wanted.
Yeah,
Everybody
wanted her,
and then
he
she
slept with her.
sleeps with
And
him, and then she's all over him.
And she
after.
does a song about how tired she is of sleeping with men. Like, she's like, and talking.
Listen, I know.
Right.
That should let you guys know how I feel about this movie. That the swirl, the swirl,
I'm
the
so
thing
interested.
I've leaded
What
up
I'm really
to.
interested in seeing is that when we if we do like an Amistad, like, or like where we do 12 Years a Slave, like, how you feel about those types.
See,
of
but
movies.
those movies to me are like, to me, going into those movies, I know this movie is about like a racial divide, or like some, like, I almost thought about like this slave ship overcoming. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to be like uplifting, like 12 Years a Slave, even though it's depressing. The black man makes it out, writes this book, and educates everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, educates the world, not just like this. Going into this movie, and I guess it's my fault, like, I didn't know that actually I did. But like, for some reason, just the premise of like, just this lone black man, you know, and don't get me wrong, he had like, friends and like Asian people who helped him out and stuff, like, who were there, so he wasn't the only colored person in the movie, but it's like this lone black man is dealing with this, and it just felt like it wasn't. And it's a comedy, so maybe that's the thing. It felt like he was just.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't. And it's not only is it just the comedy, but it's the type of comedy that it is.
Yeah, like, maybe that's what it is.
They don't have time. This movie gets meta at the end. They go back. They go into the
and
theater.
watch the
They
movie. Yeah,
watch the movie.
watch the
It's
movie.
like it's not the kind of movie that's gonna like take the time to be like, let's write a three-dimensional lead and then have a bunch populated.
Because
with
it's a
bunch
comedy, maybe it doesn't hit as home as hard as like comedies do now. But the reason comedies do now is because there's such an air of political correctness.
Yeah,
Right.
which is true.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I was like born in the 70s, I might have thought this was like.
But they said though, even in the 70s, the amount of times they said the N-word would have made people uncomfortable, even white people. It would have made most people who saw the movie uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because by then, civil rights... Remember,
Made me uncomfortable.
honestly, it may have made them more uncomfortable then than it did now.
Yeah,
because
probably.
civil rights was at such a freaking huge high kind of thing, and like MLK and Malcolm X died like only like, less than a decade earlier.
Yeah.
So people were very aware of it, and they would have been like... Anyway, before we wrap, I just wanted to say, because we didn't really get to talk about Cleveland Little, which kind of sucks that much, because I thought he was so amazing in this film.
He was fantastic.
And to me, the thing that does piss me off about this is that he didn't go anywhere after this. He was not literally nominated for a BAFTA, and the BAFTA nomination was like for like most promising for leading roles, like most promising for leading roles, and he never really got a leading role after this.
That's insane.
And so, like, to me, that's like, oh, what a clear-cut example of this whole idea, this whole notion of like, oh, the reason there aren't leading black men is because they can't prove their, box office prowess.
But no.
So you have a man who literally at the time has like the #1 rated R-rated film, like made the most money, still like number 50 all time, and he never got another leading role after.
My girlfriend watched it with me, and I was like, yeah, the black
In
guy's the
film.
lead of this movie.
Right.
And she was like, wow, he's very charming.
Charming.
Like, I can't wait to
He's
see
handsome.
a movie about this guy. And she's like, I've never felt that.
He
I've
meets-
never had that immediate reaction to someone. And then like, he was not a movie star.
Exactly. It's so ridiculous
Makes
that he
no
wasn't a movie
sense.
star. He was like, you're just like, oh my God, this guy can do anything, and he can't. He could. He was skilled at comedy. The man could do drama. Like, he came from a theater background. He could have played Hamlet. Like, and the fact that we never saw this guy ever again.
He had sex with
really
white women on
a
the
real.
movie.
He had sex with white men
on
screen.
On screen. That's why you ain't never see him again. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
maybe.
He had sex
they
with white
had-
women on screen in the Are you in the
They had
70s?
3
Oh, good
amazing
Lord.
dick jokes in this movie.
Yeah, and not only that,
I loved
like,
all of them.
And it's like,
Oh my God.
there's no way he was making
All
a movie
right,
that
okay,
way.
They show the sauce. Okay, all right.
What was your favorite part of the
My favorite part. Oh, I was just about to say it. So my favorite part of the movie is right when they cut from the sex scene, and then she's giving him a giant sausage. I think that is so funny.
And he's like, that's 15 is up.
It's like
But,
15.
yeah. But actually, my favorite. Well, that one other good dick joke was when he's like, "Let me just whip this out," and they're all
Oh
like,
my
"Oh!"
God! Wait. So there are 4 really great dick jokes because that's the second.
whip this out. Sausage.
I really like when they're like, they said you was hung. He's like, and they weren't wrong. It's great. It's great dick jokes. Great black dick jokes.
They dress up as KKK members.
He dresses up as a KKK member.
And my favorite part with Gene Wilder was just like, wait, he's like, what happened to you? He's like, look at this hand.
It's
Steady as a rock. Yeah, but I shoot with
shoot with this
hand.
hand.
It's
He's
just
like-
shaking it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
that's great.
All right.
Yeah.
I won't ask Jerah.
Jerah, what was your favorite part of the movie?
I don't know, man. Like, I like when he was like, where the white women at, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
know,
that
like,
was so funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, but
He
that's
was like, Jerah texted me. He was like, oh, I didn't know this is the movie where they said we're all the white women.
Yeah, I did, because that's like such a famous, you can say, where the white women
Such
at?
a famous line.
But not only does he say where the white women at, but he says it to 2 KKK
Yeah.
members.
Yeah, where the white woman
That
at?
is so funny.
That's my favorite part,
That
right?
is so funny.
And he already slept with the
And
white
he
woman in
says
the
that.
movie. Talking about sleeping with white women, why don't we dip on down
It's time to move on to the
this world?
Yeah. Guys, I feel so indifferent. You're waiting for that warm apple pie to come out the oven, you know? You let it cool down for a little bit, but it's still a little warm. You cut into it and you're like, this pie just don't taste right. Maybe it's the apples. Maybe the apples are off. Did she put green apples in this instead of the red apples? But yeah, let's talk about the swirl, okay? There's a swirl in this movie. The swirl comes when the white woman doesn't know that the sheriff is a black man, which I kind of like that trick. He comes upstairs and she makes the joke. You know, maybe it's what happened. It was like she made the joke about like I forgot what the exact words, but she's like referring to like the legend of black men at Big Finish. Then the lights go out.
Is it true what they say?
Yeah, is that what she says?
Yeah, that she
And it was like,
the zip.
and I was like, that's cool.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
So many Looney Tunes references.
Yeah.
so many.
But to me, it's like, if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do the swirl, all right, you don't half-ass a swirl. Do you have? Like, this is my thing, okay? Okay, when you out, all right, and when you have a wonderful plate of food and it tastes real good, don't you eat that food up? And and if your mom or somebody made it,
The lights
you
on.
let them know
The
the
lights
lights on. People see you eat that food.
But we didn't get to see anybody.
Did
have
they
sex.
did they kiss during that? Because I remember the lights going out.
No, they didn't show
They
any.
didn't show
So
that.
basically, this swirl ain't exist. This swirl ain't no swirl. Because I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I remember the lights going out, but they even kiss. Did he
Oh,
get
they
the kiss at the end of the movie?
They had to make another joke. They had to
they
make
never
a black
showed
joke.
anything on
Hold
screen.
on.
It's not on screen.
This
It's
is
not
a
on
false
screen.
swirl.
It's a false swirl.
This
yeah.
movie has sent us a false swirl. This movie has given us a movie
It's a
where the white woman
conceptual swirl.
wants to have sex with the black man, loves him after, and then of course she's hanging out with him after. I remember seeing her up there. She got her little. I'm ready to party. I don't have on a dress. Like I don't like the pants and like, but I'm still sexy. At that point, was she even standing next to him when she still was calling him cute and shit?
Yeah, she was all over him then, but she didn't. I
She
don't
kiss
think
him, though?
I don't think she
Did
kissed
she kiss him?
She may have,
Not
but
in the
I don't.
mouth.
But I'm gonna say I don't think she did.
I mean, this is my thing. You got a girlfriend. You got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Y'all girlfriends like y'all, right?
Yeah,
Do they kiss y'all in the mouth?
they sure do.
I mean, goddamn. I mean, shit.
But I mean,
on a one night
they
stand,
just
you
didn't
might
show
kiss somebody
it.
in the mouth.
I know. You're right.
I mean,
but they did get to make a Lights Off, Where Are You, Black joke. That
Yeah,
was
they
funny.
did do the lights.
I mean, that
Where
makes
are
me
you?
even. That
It
makes
was
me
so
even sadder.
dumb, but it was also very
But
funny.
my thing is this, okay? If you gonna have a swirl, you fucking commit to that
You gotta
swirl.
show it on the screen.
Okay?
You're right.
At least show my man get a kiss in the mouth.
You're right.
You ain't gotta go open mouth on it. You gotta stick no tongue in it. Give him a peck.
I don't disagree.
Remember, this was a decade before.
Well, don't do the
Beverly
swirl
Hills
yet.
Cop.
Yeah.
Don't do the swirl yet, okay? If you ain't ready to commit, at least you'll kiss that man. You kiss that man with eyes to eyes, and you don't close your eyes. You keep eyes open so he know that you excited to kiss him because you know everybody else see you kissing this black man, okay? Fuck this swirl.
And
He dropped this,
this
so everyone
was-
knows he dropped a lighter.
This
So
was
that was the sound of the
This
lighter
was
drop.
the angriest swirl brought to you by
Brought to you by
Jerah.
Jerah Milligan.
Okay, James, is there anything you want to talk about?
No, I don't think there's. Oh, yeah. So Hancock, right?
Nope.
Like so.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
Wait. So.
Yep.
Oh, now you want to talk about
Wait. Oh, Hancock's a better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you insane?
Yeah.
This
Hancock's
Hancock,
a better movie
you are
than Blazing
out of
Saddles.
your minds.
Thank you.
Oh my lord.
But this is how it connects because I thought about this.
Oh god.
So, no, because check it out.
Average film.
So Bart is like Hancock because check it.
Yeah.
So he starts off and he's like a worker. So he's not wearing good clothes and he's like disgruntled.
Yeah.
Then he gets a job as sheriff. He gets a nice suit, you know. And then he gets to be the superhero. He does stuff people have never seen before. But people are still like, I don't like him. Hancock. Then
All right.
Then at the end of the movie, he rides off in the sunset, and you know, the idea is that he's going off to be a superhero somewhere else. At the end of Hancock, where is he at? Is he in California? No, he's in New York City. Goes off somewhere else. Yes, thank you. I'm gonna.
That was it. No. That's
I'm gonna take
pretty good. How you feel about that, Braylock?
No. I was
That's
just
fine.
thinking about another funny moment when Mel Brooks is like, "Do you know that sheriff is a nit?"
Oh,
Wrong
right.
person. And
Yes.
then he goes back and he's like, "Do you know that sheriff is a nit?" And
He
just says
doesn't
it
finish.
again.
Oh, and that's something that I wanted to say earlier. I didn't get to say it, but I said that like in the 70s you can make jokes that you can't make now.
Yeah.
There are so many just horrible jokes.
Yeah,
that they make.
sexist.
Like sexist jokes.
Homophobic. They use
homophobic jokes.
they
say faggot
they
in
say
this.
faggot. They say chink.
They say chink.
They make fun of Jews.
They
make,
do it a lot.
Which Mel Brooks obviously makes fun of Jews all the time.
all the time.
But they make, even at the end where there's like, all right, let's go, ladies. And they're all like,
right. Oh, right. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
So, but again,
Yeah,
that
they
doesn't
make fun of-
necessarily
yeah.
make it better.
Like they
but
have a woman,
It is
you know,
everybody.
who's
oh my god!
just a
Every
sexual
woman that
object.
they show
Yeah,
is
her
like
boobs
either
are
a
out.
sexual object
or an old maid.
or like an old maid that's
gets beat
getting
up? Who gets
beat.
beat up?
Oh, yeah.
the shit's getting beat out.
A
of them.
horse gets punched in this film.
A couple horses get punched in this.
Animal rights. Yeah, this movie
movie-
makes fun of everybody.
Basically, Blazing Saddles is terrible,
And the Irish.
and the Irish.
Cool. So it's time for the cause. And I am feeling I'm going to be so upset. But
You might be.
So here's the thing. So the cause, for those of you who don't know, is we're talking about we don't rate films on a typical scale. So even if you didn't like the humor of the film, you didn't like if you just didn't like the film for whatever some weird reason, very deep inside. It's not about that. What it's about is how much this film helped the cause of leading black men in Hollywood. And we're talking about leading black men in major motion pictures. None of this indie bull crap. I love indie films. No offense.
I want to
indie
make
films,
one.
but-
So
Also, he won a BAFTA, or was nominated.
He was nominated.
He was nominated.
Cool.
And also, no film just for black people.
Yeah.
Black people.
Yeah,
Great.
we're not trying to please just black people.
Yeah. So we got a full Black Fist, the highest rating, White Palm, or nothing. All right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
I'm ready. I know what I'm gonna read.
I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna close. I don't know. I'm gonna just let my body just do whatever. it's
All
gonna
right,
do. I
here
don't
we
know.
go. This is the most mysterious one to me. All right,
This
I'm gonna
one
count
is-
at 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Wow. Respect.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know at home, it received 2 Black Fists
And a
and a
white
palm.
And a white palm.
From James III.
I mean, I'm always.
James III threw up a white palm.
I did.
Me and Jerah gave it a fist. Jerah, I respect you.
Listen,
What?
Listen, man.
This movie does not deserve 3 fists. I'm sorry.
Please.
You know
tell
what?
us
I will. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's why it doesn't deserve 3 fists. Okay, all right. For the time, right?
Yes,
It was probably
1974.
amazing that they had a black lead.
Yeah.
And
That
also
wasn't in
for
a
the-
blaxploitation.
That
Because
wasn't
that's
a
all.
blaxploitation.
The films
Yes.
now are like blaxploitation. It's like Shaft.
And
all
it's
this.
also, it should be commended that's why I was like, he was nominated for a BAFTA. Like,
Yes.
that's insane, right?
Yeah.
All these things are insane, all these things. But at the core of it, and because I've rated other movies this way, I had to do it with this one. Because it was about his blackness that he was in the movie.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because that was such a big part of it.
Yeah.
I couldn't give it a full fist. I feel like full fists in my boat are worthy of movies that are, movies, black, people are black, we ain't talking about it.
Right.
You're just a human. You're just a human in a movie.
So, which is interesting because then any period piece,
It's not going to get a
you're just
fist
not going
for
to get
me.
it, right?
Yeah.
Because even in something like Wild Wild West, where they like it's a
Yeah,
fictional thing, but
what did I
like
give? I
they
think I
have to
gave
do it.
I think I gave it a palm
You
for the
gave it a
same
palm,
reason.
yeah.
For this exact same
Same
reason.
reason.
Yeah.
So, which
That's
is
a very
also a
tough
weird
reason,
thing.
though,
It's
bro.
hard. It's like it's
I
hard
know.
for me. Because
That's a
it's
very
like
tough reason.
because it's like oh like we just can't be in movies if like the setting is before
Yeah.
1960s,
Right.
Like,
Right.
or even in the 1960s,
Yeah.
like which
no
sucks,
movies pre-1960.
right?
I mean, shoot, can you do movies prior to like 1990?
I know it's like anyway, but I
Yeah.
do get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave it a-
That's the only reason I gave it. I think it's a great.
Yeah.
It maybe in another universe it deserves 3 fists.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it a fist because even though that is true, and I actually did think about that. I'm like, oh, it does still talk about race. To me, it does it in a way that's not like they weren't using him being black. It wasn't like joking about, well, other than like maybe the Gucci thing, it wasn't
Yeah.
talking about stereotypes.
Right. It
of
wasn't at
black
his
people.
expense. That's true.
It wasn't at his
Mhm.
expense,
Yeah.
which to me it was always at the expense of the races. So like,
Yeah.
so even like in the scene where like they're like freaking drowning in quicksand, and they're like, oh my god, and then they throw the rope and they save the handcart, and they're,
Right,
they're
yeah.
like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
so like,
I loved that
so
bit.
like, there are so many things where it's like, all right, all the jokes are at the expense of the racists. We're not making chicken joke, and
Right,
all
yeah.
this other stuff, which like I feel like even in other films, like even in like Eddie Murphy, we talked about it. Like Eddie Murphy like played like certain like black kind of
Right. I mean, and also to connect it to something else that we talked about was I gave Training Day a palm, right?
Yeah.
Because of how people might receive it,
Right.
which I think is connected to how Jerah felt uncomfortable about it, you know. And I think that like people might have negative perceptions of the movie.
right.
So
Jerah.
I gave it a fist because it's tough because, I did not like this movie. Like, not even, I didn't like the swirl at all. And that sucks. But the thing is, I gave it a palm for the same reason, for one of the reasons why I dislike it. This movie is beloved by white people. And the thing is, even if I don't agree with how, the main character's portrayed, the mere fact that this black dude did exist in the 70s, like, as a hero, and as, like, there's a lot of people who think this is like, oh, this is a great movie. And it's like, this black dude leads this movie, So, I mean, it sucks because he didn't work after this. But in thinking with that, he may not have, but I feel like,
Richard Pryor did.
yeah, this opened the door to Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it helped. I mean, it may not have helped the
Yeah.
guy playing Bart, but it helped us in the end.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah, it was definitely
You
a
know.
pioneer.
yeah.
All right. Goodness gracious.
Hopefully
There
we
it
can.
This is the most contentious episode.
Guys, I'm sorry.
Black
I
man
just,
can't jump in
I
Hollywood
just,
ever.
I just couldn't. Sorry, it's my fault. I need to apologize to the fans at home. It's just
No,
one of those things that
there's-
I just
Jerah,
can't bang with it.
I will. There's definitely somebody out there that's like, yeah, Jerah, yeah,
I just couldn't.
fuck
bang.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a
And
lot of
I'm
people who are
wondering
like,
why we're defending it.
there's a lot of people who are probably like, I don't get what he's like. Listen, man, shit got weird, but I love y'all.
We love you.
Y'all y'all know it's time for some plugs.
Yes, it's time for some plugs, and thank God I'm present.
Yeah,
'cause
plug your own
y'all-
stuff.
Yeah. Oh, did we mess up your plugs?
Yes, you did. You messed up.
At least we cared. At least
We tried
cared.
to get them
Nah,
right.
thank you guys. For,
I didn't want to do
All
it.
right,
Bray
James.
made me do it.
James, what's your plug?
I'll start. So, if you want to find James III on the internet,
See, he already confusing me.
I don't know.
He just said James the Third.
that's my
Exactly.
name.
Okay.
That's my name.
Your
But
name
if
is
you
James?
want to find me on the internet, I can't do it. You just have to go to JamesThirdComedy.com.
So James THIRD.
No, why you know?
Oh, yeah, that's how you spell Trying to clarify.
Third is 3RD.
But I thought your name is James the Third.
That is my name. It's not. This isn't hard. It's not difficult.
So
you
you
go to
just go-
JamesThirdComedy.com, or you can find me on Twitter at JamesThirdComedy. Third is 3RD.
But your name is
So wait, if I Google James the Third, will you come up?
If you Google James III, the King of Scotland will come up. You gotta Google James III comedy.
Okay. So it's James 3RD comedy.
That's right.
.com.
at James III Comedy on Twitter.
Okay.
Instagram.
I got that Twitter one right.
Facebook.
And that's
no,
it? Anything else?
And that's it. I mean, no, nothing else.
All right.
Can I ask for
Jerah.
a clarification on your
What?
your name?
No,
This
no,
is the
you
longest
can't.
plug.
All right, fine. I'm gonna let it go. I got one question. I'm sorry, I can't let it go.
What is it?
So it's not James with like the Roman numerals?
No, it's
Three?
not James. Well, all right. So if you're spelling my name, it's James Roman numeral. But if it's in a website address,
See, this is why we don't plug his shit.
no.
It's like,
All right, Jerah,
all right, okay. So y'all can find me on Facebook. Some of you guys already have at Jerah Milligan. It's only because I
I'm
like
getting too personal with these
Notice
fans,
what I'm
man.
saying. I like people to like reach out. People are asking me why you do the swirl.
And
How do I
they-
get a
and
swirl?
then they,
Talk to me.
You want them to look at your pictures, and so you
I mean, I'm not gonna befriend them.
You want them to also see what you what?
I ain't about to befriend them.
Hey y'all, check me out on Facebook. I'm not gonna friend
I'm gonna
you.
leave that friend request dangling.
We can message each other. You know, they ask me a question.
Oh my
This is
goodness.
getting really
Because
shifty.
I have to do Facebook to promote shows
You need to
anyway.
get on Twitter, dude. Get
Yes.
on Twitter.
All right, fine. I'm gonna get on Twitter. So next time we do one of these, I'm gonna
right.
tweet something out.
Yeah,
But
you're not-
also,
you're not Jason Mantzoukas. You need to get on Twitter.
Yeah, get on Twitter.
but also, coming up on September 24th,
Yes.
Astronomy Club, a team that James Braylock, myself, and a couple others are in, are doing a sketch show at UCB Chelsea in New York City.
Yes.
Thursday at 6:30.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Tickets are $5. Come
Boom.
hang out. We're taking you through a journey through Black history.
Cool.
We know it's September, but hey, don't be racist. Come to the show. And that's
gonna
all
be
I
great.
got.
All right.
Braylock, you go.
All right, so guys, Wednesday, September 23rd, watch the Jim Gaffigan show because I'm gonna be on that ish for a hot second. So yeah, Jim Gaffigan show on TV Land, or you can just like catch it. I think like online.
Yeah, it's
somewhere
online.
afterwards.
Yeah, get it online.
But yeah, so that's TV Land, September 23rd. I think it's like 10 o'clock. And then, check me out, johnbraylock.com, at John Braylock on Instagram and Twitter. And for all of us at Black Men Podcast, keep following us on Twitter. We got a couple of more Twitter followers,
Yes.
so thank you for that. But keep following and rate and review us on iTunes, okay? And that's about it. We done. Oh, so now here we go. For the next week, we are doing the movie Blade.
Starring Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. Okay, I know some people have already suggested that we do this movie. Well, guess what? We doing it.
It's happening.
It's happening. Our first Wesley Snipes movie. So check that out next week. Refresh your memory on Blade.
Go get you a leather outfit and a sword.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for
Later.
listening.
That was a HeadGum podcast.